So first I'm going to talk about the exterior that I've done, then the engine bay, and then the inside. And together this is going to be in no particular order of what I've done things but actually before I start, I'm going to actually post a link in the description if you want to see more detail of everything that I've done to the car from like the very first thing in order, chronological order. I'll post a link down in the description with my Audi zine build thread, and they're actually going into way more details, of everything that I've done to the car, which includes, pretty much everything that you see, like the wheels, the brakes, the vinyl wrap, when I was doing the timing chain, and the inside, anything I did internal, I go through all of that down in my build thread, so I'll link that down below. First things first, the thing that you can see obviously throughout the whole car is the vinyl wrap. So the vinyl wrap I did myself. The original color is dolphin gray. As to why I stuck with the gray color is because I just love this shade of gray. When Audi came out with the Nardo gray, when I first saw it in person, I just fell in love with the color and I just had to have it. So it eventually took a while, but I finally installed the vinyl wrap. The vinyl wrap took me a while. It took me like about a month and a half to finally get it done. So kudos to those that actually do vinyl wrapping for an actual full-time job, because I couldn't do it for a full-time job. No way. But kudos to you guys. So yeah, the vinyl wrap is all the way around the whole car. And right here, it may be kind of a little cheesy, but I did the carbon fiber. There's bug guts right there. A vinyl carbon fiber roof vinyl wrap, if I can say my words right, just to kind of give like the black, gray, and yellow theme that I kind of have going on. As far as this is actually plasti dipped. I've had this thing plasti dipped for I think since the beginning, since I've started kind of modifying the car visually, and it's held up pretty good. If you do it right, plasti dip lasts a really long time. So speaking of vinyl wrap, on the same topic, if you can see the window trim, it's all black. It's a satin black. I originally used to have the carbon fiber wrap on the window trim, but after a while it just, to me it seemed a little cheesy, kind of like that feels like a little cheesy. So I decided to remove the carbon fiber and put satin black, which I actually love the satin black because I'm not doing it overkill with the fake carbon fiber. So, and speaking of fake carbon fiber, I also vinyl wrapped the side mirrors on both sides, obviously, but I like it. Some may not like it, but it is what it is. So sticking to the front part of the car, if you notice my headlights, it's still the OEM ones, but what I did differently, the OEMs are like a dark gray. So I did what's called a Joey mod. So where you pretty much you gotta remove the plastic cover, which is a pain to remove it, and I spray painted all this black, and I removed the little amber side markers. It looks way better like this. So these are OEM. The bulbs that are used are the HIDs. I actually have LED bulbs in here, and I actually kind of did a little rewiring retrofit for the LEDs to work. I also have the LEDs also in the fog lights. I don't know if that comes out good, but yeah, I did these LEDs. Those are way brighter. I love it. Originally I had like a blue, a while ago I had a blue HIDs. At first, the blue looked really cool, but after a while I was like, I kind of like the white light better. So these are a white light headlights. As far as the brights, they're still the halogen. I haven't touched those. Next thing that I've done to the car, if you haven't noticed, is the lip. So I actually get this asked quite a bit. What lip do I have? So what it is, it's two lips in one pretty much. So the first lip right here is the Cupra R lip. Pretty much you can get that anywhere. And then the second part is a universal lip that I got off of eBay, and it was actually for an M5, believe it or not, because I was looking for like other universal lips, and there were some lips that would come out way out here, and it'd be like a big old, big gap. And I wasn't a huge fan of it. I kind of wanted to find something that was like streamlined, that kind of went along with the curvature of the car. So I got this universal front lip. I really love it. I actually had to modify it, and I go into more detail on my in the build thread, but I actually had to cut it in half, cut out a chunk in the middle, and then pretty much epoxy glue it. So it's right here's the middle. So yeah, so there's some little scrapes here that I have to repaint, do a better job repainting. Again, it's with wear and tear and rock chips and whatnot and bugs. Yeah, but I love the front lip. It definitely, I think it adds the good aggressive look to the front part of the car, having that front lip. Next thing, it's not really a modification, it pretty much comes standard. So with the B6 front bumper, there's a plate right here that you can remove to put a Euro plate style, and that's what I have. So I have my I still have my Colorado plates. I still need to get it registered to Texas because that's where I live now, so I'll do that eventually. But yeah, I think it completes the look to make it more authentically European, if that really makes sense. So that's pretty much the front. That has everything that I've done to before I move on, the grills, I pretty much deleted all the chrome from the car because I'm not a huge fan of the chrome look. I just like it blacked out. Anything that's chrome, as you can tell from the window trim, that's blacked out. This is blacked out. Also the lower grill is also blacked out. So I like the look. That's just my taste. I know it's not for everybody, which is fine, but do what you like. It's your car. So before I move on to the wheels and whatnot, things that I have as to why I like the gray, black, and the yellow theme is because there's a movie from Batman, and I'll post a picture of it somewhere up here, where Bruce Wayne is driving his Lamborghini, and he has this Lamborghini is like a dark gray with yellow calipers. And when I saw it, like, man, that's a pretty sweet look. And I was younger, so always as a kid, I always had that thought in my head, like, whenever I get a car, whatever car it is, I want to have that same color scheme. So now that it's my B6S4, my dream came true. So that's kind of like the backstory as to why I like gray with the black wheels, the yellow calipers. If it's not obvious that I like gray cars with black wheels. And then my wife's car is over there, also black and gray, and my mountain bike right there hanging gray with black wheels. So before I get off topics, let's get back to the car. So these are VMRs. So these are VMRs V701s. The size are 18 by 8.5 with an ET of 35. Obviously I have the 6-piston Brembo brakes. As for the tires, I have the Toyo Proxys 4 Plus. I have no issues with these tires. These are an all weather tires, and I mean they're pretty good tires. I have no complaints. Again, I don't track the car, so if you're one who tracks the car, I think you might want to have different tires or something. I don't know. But if you're like me, who just drives it conservatively here and there, and every once in a while doesn't mind to give it a little push, I mean, like, these tires are great. So as far as the size of these tires, they're 235/40 R18. So as far as the rotors, these are Adams rotors in the front, and in the rear I have the StopTex rotors. So when I got these, So the kind of little story as to why I have two different brand rotors. So when I got these rotors, I also got the Atom rotors also for the rears, but that was before I did the Voshmod kit for the rears, because those were the OEM size. But with the Voshmod kit, you need 330 millimeter for in the rears, so I had to change the rotors. So I had to sell the Atom rotors that I had for the rear and sell those to get the actual 330 with our stop tack. So I'll talk about that when I get over there. So as far as as you can see, it's lowered. I have the Bilstein suspension. I have adjustable control arms up on top. As speaking about the brakes, I do have the braided line, the steel braided line for the Brembos, and those are the stop tacks. I think that's kind of the only company that makes them for, to fit along with our car. Also, if you haven't noticed, I have a Ferrari wheel cap, which I really like. It definitely gives that yellow theme that I have going on. Some people may not like it or are kind of like meh, but I really love it. I think it's kind of funny, and I think it goes great with the car. So moving on the side of the car, I have the Relac, I think that's how you pronounce it, side skirt. I actually they came in black, but the black didn't really match the black that's on my car, so I have a satin black, and it kind of it matches the window trim, which is actually pretty cool. So that's that. Actually, this is, believe it or not, this is actually plasti dipped right here. I think I only did like a few layers of plasti dip, and it's, I think with doing so many car washes here and there, like, it's a very smooth texture, so it's not grimy or bumpy. Again, if you do plasti dip the right way, it lasts and it looks great. Now we're in the back part for the rear wheels. So the wheels and the tires are the same exact size as the fronts. I do not have any spacers. For me personally, I don't recommend spacers because I kind of want the flush look, but I'll talk about what I'm gonna plan on doing to the rears in later in the video. But as you can see, I forgot to mention, it's pretty flush with the fender, so that's really cool. And then obviously there's no gap, wheel gap I mean. And also in the rear, the same Bilstein coilovers that I have in the front, but obviously for the rears. And if you notice, the rears, this is not OEM at all. This is the Voshmods kit, Voshmods kit for the B6S4. So it has the Wheelwood parking brake, has the B8S4 rear rotors, which is the 330 millimeters, I believe. And then these I actually got off of a Volkswagen Touareg. Somebody was selling them, so I went ahead and pretty much like skinned it down to the bare metal. I put primer. So the way I did this was I put primer, the yellow paint, and then I did a 2K, not to get confused with the 2X that you can get from like Home Depot or any hardware store. It's a 2K clear coat that you put, that's just pretty much like paint like. So what I did is I did the yellow paint, and then I put the little Brembo sticker, and then I put the 2K clear over this. And once it cured, I actually put what was it called, ceramic coat on the caliper. So I don't know if you can tell, but the little smudge, how dirty they are. So here's the dirty and clean where I did where I slid my finger. So yeah, it's awesome. The ceramic coat is the same ceramic coat that I use for the paint too, for the vinyl wrap as well. Same thing with the parking brake. Painted that, did the 2K clear coat, and also not vinyl wrapped, I'm sorry. I did the ceramic coat. And speaking of ceramic coat, I almost forgot. This is ceramic coated. The whole car is ceramic coated. Roof, car. The only thing that's not ceramic coated are the wheels. I haven't ceramic coated the wheels. Now back to the rear of the car. What I've done is I did a duckbill, which I always love the look of a duckbill spoiler in the back. So this I got from Spoiler King. I did a video in a previous video on how to install this. The tail lights are OEM, and these are actually plasti dipped. So if you can see, you know, it's a little different shade. So here I think I can't remember, I did this such a long time ago. Tell how dirty it is. I need to wash the car. I think I did 7 or 6 layers of plasti dip and 2 or 3 layers plasti dip here to give it just enough so you can still see, you know, the turn signals and the reverse light. The reverse light's kind of pointless because it's kind of dim, and you can still see when I brake, you can still see, you know, the light. So that's what's really important. What else? So the trunk is not a US standard issued if you buy a car in the US. So I actually got the Euro style trunk, and it was actually black. And what I didn't care what color the trunk was, because I was gonna vinyl wrap it anyway. So that's what I did. I got and it happened to be black, the trunks, which actually worked out perfect, because if you ever vinyl wrapped a car, vinyl wrapping a dark colored car is so much easier than, like, say, like a yellow car or a white car, because you can really hide, you know, the crevices. You know, it doesn't show as much, because black hides it pretty well. So yeah, so I have the Euro trunk, which I just love the look. So, and when I was in the market looking for a Euro trunk, luckily there was some guy that was selling it. If you're familiar with the B6 S4s, they're only dual exhaust tips, and I have quad exhaust tips. So yeah, so I ended up cutting up part of the rear valance to accommodate the extra exhaust tip. So these are 4 inches, both of are 4 inches, and it really gives it that, for me, that extra aggressive look that just looks pretty sweet. So as far as the exhaust goes, now let's talk about the exhaust. So the exhaust, let's see if I can get underneath, is right here. So it's a really small muffler, so it definitely gets pretty loud. And then again, and it goes all the way there. So that's pretty much the exhaust from here. And so from the muffler, there's the Y connection, and then you have the exhaust tips. Let's talk about the exhaust now. I have the JHM V2 catless headers. So from the catless headers, it goes down to a custom exhaust, which is an X pipe, and then the X pipe goes all to the mufflers that I just showed you a while ago. So that is my exhaust system in a nutshell. There's no cats, so it definitely, you know, sounds really loud. And if you don't mind the smell of it, which I don't smell it when I'm driving, you definitely smell it, like, say, when it's an idle and you're standing back here because you want to hear it. You do get that smell, if you know what I'm talking about. But it doesn't bother me because I'm not always back here. I'm in there driving the car. So yeah, so I think that's pretty much it that I've as far as the exterior goes of the car. So if you haven't seen my previous videos, this is what the engine bay looks like. I'm not gonna go in any particular order. I think I'll probably forget a few things, but I hope. So I'm just gonna start from my left and work over to the right to make sure I don't forget anything. The first things first, you notice is the cool air intake. So this was actually given to me by a buddy of mine who used to own a B6. His name is Phil. If he's watching this, thanks for giving this to me. Really appreciate it and hope you're doing well. And he gave this to me right before he sold his B6. So yeah, so I have the 034 inlet. So the filter is it's a K&N air filter that goes all the way down, and the air enters in through here. So a lot of people have said, what about, water, air getting waterlogged? Since I don't drive this car in the rain or through puddles, that's something I don't need to worry about. So it doesn't faze me at all. So now as we go here, you can see obviously the valve covers are not OEM paint. They are actually a slate gunmetal gray, I believe. And I did all this when I did the timing chains. So yes, the timing chains have been done on this car. So when I had the motor pulled out, I did a lot of maintenance, other maintenance things that that's recommended to be done with when the engine gets just easier to work on. What else? And you can't really see it, but I do have the JHM V2 catless headers, and those are and those I have painted in the ceramic black to reduce heat. Also, I have the 034 motor mounts in. And then obviously, you know, it sticks out like a sore thumb here. I do have the VF Engineering Supercharger kit installed, and originally this comes in black. I did a video a while back on me painting it yellow, and then the last manifold I had was also yellow, again to go with the, you know, gray and yellow theme that I have going on. So the supercharger, pretty much all the maintenance that's done, like in the when you have the like the check valve system. I have a applicable, I'm sure that's how you pronounce it, front motor mount. So that front motor mount is also newish. As we come over here, everything looks, I don't think I've done too much. Here, let me remove this. So as we get over here on the driver's side, this is the oil cap for an R8. This looks pretty cool. I think it really gives it the complete, you know, look. And to go with that, this is actually from a Porsche coolant cap. So this is actually a lot cheaper to get the Porsche one than the R8. So the R8, you have to get the oil cap that I'm aware of. As far as the coolant cap, you can get the Porsche one, which is a lot cheaper than if you were to get the R8 version. Also, I got the catch can. I also did a video of this on my channel a while back ago on how to install the catch can and how it works and whatnot. The ABS module is OEM, and I actually sent this out to get it get rebuilt because I was getting the ABS traction control, you know, light on my dashboard. Some of you guys know what I mean, then you know what I mean. So I went ahead and just took this out and got that rebuilt. So it's pretty much bulletproof now. I shouldn't be getting that problem. And pretty much also, again, the motor mounts on this side too. The AC is a brand new one. The starter is brand new. So you can't see it from here, but in the back of the motor, I removed the OEM clutch system. So right now what it has, it's the JHM lightweight crank flywheel paired with the RS4 clutch and disc. So that's what I have in the back. And speaking of JHM, I do have the, can't see it, but down here where the crank pulley is, that's also the JHM lightweight crank pulley. I have that. Wondering, for the JHM crank pulley, I got the 5 rib. I didn't get the 6 rib. I think that's correct. So, and I was actually got lucky because if you get the 6 rib, if you get the VF kit, it's not gonna work because the pulley that they give you is the same as the OEM, which is the 5 ribs. So I only got the 5 rib a while back ago when I had the engine out, when I was doing all these things pulley. So that was a good call on my end, kind of future proofing myself. If you're wondering what this is for the water pump for the supercharger. So this kind of connects to the battery, and it comes with its own fuse. So the fuel injectors, these are not the ones that come with the VF kit, which are the 370 cc's. So I had to upgrade the fuel injectors to the 550 cc's, and then the reason why I did that because Jackal Motorsports recommended that I do the 550 cc's because the 370 would be bottlenecking the car, especially when you're going at full throttle, and it'll be pretty much close to max load. And there's a buddy of mine also, if I don't know if I'll link his account below. His name is Jason. He actually tracks his car, and he was saying that with the 370 cc's, he was pretty much maxing out his fuel injectors, and if that's, you know, that can be bad. You know, it can definitely lose some power or even worse, you know. So he's now upgraded to the 550 cc's. And depending on what injectors you get, you may get the ones that are plug and play, but I got the ones that are the Bosch. And since they're not plug and play, I have to kind of flip the harness upside down and twist them so that these connections, the EV connections, can come out. So if you notice, they're kind of upside down. So not a big deal. And then right here is the boost line that runs to the boost gauge for the supercharger. And then I'll talk about that when we're in the inside of the car. This is where you top off the supercharger if you don't know. So there, and then there's a vent hose back here. Same, the ECUs right there. So yeah, that's pretty much that I can think of as far as the engine bay goes. Now let's go into the interior and see what I've done to the car. Again, in no specific order. Obviously right here what you see is the steering wheel. So this steering wheel is from a Audi TT MK2, flat bottom. I vinyl wrapped the aluminum or the shiny chrome part with the same carbon fiber wrap that I also did the trim as well, and I'll get to that later. Then also this, it's suede. It's not Alcantara, it's suede. And then I got the yellow stitchings to kind of match the gray and yellow theme I have going on. And then so that leads me to the trim. So the trim is all the same carbon fiber wrap that throughout the whole interior of the car, and also the center console and here in the head unit display. And then I have the boost gauge for the supercharger. When deciding on the boost gauge, what I wanted to use, I was going back and forth if I wanted an analog or a digital boost gauge. The analogs that I was seeing, the needle when it lit up was red, and it didn't really go with, if you're familiar with the B6S4, really nothing's red except for the buttons, they turn red. But I wanted to match the needles, and since these needles, when they light up, they are like a white color, the red and the white, for me, that didn't match, and I didn't really like that. So I went the digital gauge, and I was kind of searching to see what light was like a white light. So I went ahead and got this one, and here, let me turn it on for you so you can just see how the boost gauge, which I really like it. So yeah, so that's the boost gauge, and let me turn on the lights so you can see how the white matches, comes close to matching the light on the boost gauge. So yeah, and then obviously I rewired back to the steering wheel. I forgot, rewired the harness for these lights to match. Unfortunately, these do not at all control the unit. It's not OEM, so that's probably why. And the only thing that does work is the horn. So that's what really for me matters more, is for the horn to work. So it does work. I'm not gonna honk it right now. And here, another thing I did was the center console. This is a Pioneer. I believe it's a 4000 NEX, so it's fairly old, 2013 model if I can remember. Got this used from the forums. I like it. I'll probably eventually upgrade to a bigger screen, but we'll see. But right now it does the job. I got a Black Forest Industry shifter. I really love this design. It definitely goes, and I went with the black with the perforated leather because I think it kind of matches the interior of the car. You can get a black suede, different colors and whatnot, but yeah, I love this. Here I do have the short shifter, so I have the ECS tuning short shifter, and as far as the shifting other components, I do have the JHM linkage and bushings. Just the short shifter, I went with ECS. Now there's a lot of mixed reviews about the ECS tuning short shifter, but so far I have had no problems at all, no issues. I love it. You can adjust it to how short or longer throw you want for the shifter. I have it in the middle right now, but I like it how it is. And I believe that's pretty much all there really is for the interior. So now I'm just going to go ahead and talk about the next things I would like to do in the near future to the car, both exterior and interior as well. As far as what I want to do for the future plans, and right now in a realistic point of view, I definitely would like to get the two-piece rotors. So I like to get a two-piece rotors. I can't think of the name right now off the top of my head, but I'll post, I'll type in which two-piece rotors I want for the front and also the rears. And eventually going on back here, again, also the two-piece rotors for the rears. And also, I like to get the adjustable control arm for the rears because, um, since this car is lowered, it kind of sits, a little bit off. So I like to, so I can have even wear on both sides of the tires, and kind of have it more standing up to look a little bit more flush with the fender. So that's one thing I like to put, is that adjustable 034 adjustable. As far as like anything that goes here, what I would like to do, this is going to be further into the future, because the internals of this is stock. So right now I am on a conservative tune from Jackal Motorsports. So what I would really like to do is build the internals, so I can eventually, like maybe eventually, get a smaller supercharger pulley, so I can have more boost and really push this car above the 600 wheel or 500 600 wheel horsepower. That would be pretty sweet. So that's what I can think of right now as far as the engine goes, what I would like to do for the future. As far as the hood, what I would like to do, because this does, it does heat up pretty much like any other manifold, I would like to eventually drill some vents here on the side. So one on this side and one on this side. And I'm kind of debating to put one, in the center. I don't know how I'm gonna put that in, or what vent I'll do, if it's something I have to do on my own. But there are some side vents that look pretty cool. But as far as like the center vent, like I don't want like a hood scoop. I don't find that kind of one that looks like stealthy and sleek, that will go along with with the car. So that's something I really want to do soon. Not soon, but eventually, so I can get the engine bay nice and cool when I'm driving. Now this is gonna be like further into the future, and this is like dreams here. Eventually I like to, because I really do love the Nardo gray wrap, I would really love to get this in an actual paint, like remove the vinyl gray, the Nardo gray vinyl wrap, and actually paint it Nardo gray, because I just really love this color of the Nardo gray. And then with that being said, there's only one B6 that I'm aware of that actually did the RS4 wide body conversion. So yeah, so they did the front, the rear fenders with the actual RS4, with obviously a lot of body work and fabrication, and also like the bottom side skirt as well. So with that being said, these fins will have door blades will have to be removed, and get the RS4 version. And that, it looks really nice. That's like way further into the future. What I would like to do is the paint, and while I'm doing the paint, might as well do the fenders, but we'll see. Honestly, the only thing I would do different as far as the inside goes is probably change out the seats, because I know the RS4 Euro seats are very, pretty expensive. I know there's other brands that are equivalent to that look like the RS4 Euro seats. Because I know there's a brand called Brom, I think that's how you pronounce it, or there's another brand too that looks very similar to it. The only thing as far as the internal goes, like so far everything I've done to the internal, I'm very happy with how it looks. It'll just be the two front seats, and then I think that will definitely complete the look as far as the inside goes. I think that pretty much sums up everything that I've done to the car, a 360 walkthrough of the exterior and interior, everything that I've done to the car, and things that I would like to do in the near future with the car. It's my project car. This is going to be my forever car. I don't ever plan on selling this at all, no matter how. I guess it depends if somebody gives me the right amount of money, but more than likely this is my forever car. I don't plan on selling this car at all. I'm planning on keeping this until I'm old, when this is considered a classic car. So till that day comes, I love this car. I really do. I love the body style. I just love everything about this car. It is high maintenance, I will say that. If you don't, I definitely learned how to work on a car because of this car. Like before this car, I only knew how to do was oil changes and probably change a flat tire. That's pretty much the basics of what I've knew how to work on a car. But because of this car, I have learned so much. And with learning so much, you have, all this stuff, your toolboxes and all this stuff. Like it pretty much, you got to have this stuff if you want to work on your car. It doesn't have to be exactly this stuff, but I mean, you get the idea. With time, I get more tools. Like it being an Audi, there's some tools that you need specifically just for this car. And with time, I was kind of building up my tool, my tool collection. So this was not an all overnight, dumping thousands of dollars on tools on one night. This was something that happened, over time. So with that being said, also, the experience that I've learned, like I said, I know I'm saying this a lot, but I think the most important thing that I have gotten out of this car was the relationships because of this car, like the car community, like going hanging out with other guys that have the same passion for this, not this platform specifically, but just Audi in general. And even if you don't drive an Audi, if you're like a Subaru or Mitsubishi or JDM, whatever it is, you know what I'm talking about. The community that you and the relationships you build upon just because of this clunk of metal with four wheels. So that's something I'm very, very, very grateful. Not only the knowledge that you get, but most importantly, like the relationships you get with this car that you get to make. That's something I'm very grateful for. Moving here to Texas, all my friends are all back in Colorado, so still no friends here in Texas, because here in Texas it's nothing but big trucks, lowered trucks, your Corvettes, your Camaros, those cars. Not a lot of Audis here where I am in Texas. I know there's parts in Texas that are have more Audis, but where I am in Texas, that's not the case. I'm kind of like the lone wolf out here, but hopefully I'll make some friends out here where I am here in Texas. So yeah, whenever I do go back to Colorado to visit family, I'll definitely visit those friends. I won't have this car because it'll stay here, but so that's one thing. I'm pretty sure I'm repeating myself and you're probably bored of me talking, but it's really the friendship that you get out of this car that I'm very, very, very thankful for, having those friendships. And if you're watching these videos, you know who you are and you know exactly what I'm talking about. So because there's a lot of people to name, that I've built relationships because of this car. So I think that's the end of this video. I'm gonna end the video on this note. So again, thank you for watching and have a good one.